Okay. I think I removed someone from the group because I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure if the person is for us or not. I removed her from the group. I hope she will be able to join us. Okay. Okay, sis, thank you for joining back. Madam Obisheso and Madam Abigail is here. Mr. Oluwaseyi that was saying, we are live. Oh, I'm trying to drop a message. We are live so that they can join us. So let me just give a little background, especially because of Mrs. Obisheson that is just joining for more like her first time of joining. So this is how we do it every Saturday. It's the scholarship guarantee. There is a WhatsApp group that we created technically that serves like an academy. And in that WhatsApp group, or to be in that WhatsApp group, is either you have pre-ordered the book or you have pre-ordered the online course, or maybe the person has signed up for the mentorship program. And so, the first month is automatic, and that's why those who have been joining all the while didn't have to make any new financial commitment because they already pre-ordered either the book or the video course. So the first month is designed, not the first, let me not say the first month. So since the first month is automatic, subsequent month is based on renewal in the sense that, so if after the first month you find this really useful and you want to still keep getting the kind of support that others are getting, it is important that you note that, one, I came up with these two plans, especially because, one, see, these fingers, they say they are not equal, and that is the truth. I realized that some people they are very much interested in working on the applications, and for one reason or the other, the only thing they can't afford so much, especially because the process itself is can be financially challenging. I don't want to use the word consuming. It is not financially consuming, but it can be financially challenging depending on how much we make, as individuals on a monthly basis. So because of that, we decided that for those who just want to remain on the WhatsApp platform, so if you want to remain on the WhatsApp platform just to get tips, the only thing you need to pay is a 1,000 monthly subscription fee. But if you want to join a Zoom meeting like this on a monthly basis, the fee is not 1,000 naira, but 5,000 naira. And the reason why that is different is because, of course, we know that being on a WhatsApp group is just because you want to be in the group, or maybe because you need quick tips, and those quick tips can be dropped on the WhatsApp platform. But for those who are joining, who want to keep joining the Zoom meeting, the good thing about meeting on Zoom is that if there is need to review essays as a group, we still get to do that. I realized that when we created our Facebook group, we were not getting the results we needed because a lot of people were on the group, but they were not making progress with the application. And so we saw that there was no point creating a Facebook Academy where people are doing nothing. So as a replacement for that, this is what we're doing moving forward. One, we have a WhatsApp group. So after today, I can add Mrs. Obishes to the WhatsApp group. Moving forward, every weekend we meet on Zoom and that's always on Sundays. That is what we're doing today. So I just wanted to give that background, especially because Mrs. Obishes is just joining. So please take notes. We have two more meetings before the end of this month, and that will be next week, Sunday, and the Sunday after next week. So I know that some of us have not gotten our transcripts. I would like us to turn on our camera, please. This is like a standard rule. Mr. Elijah, Mr. Oluseyi, I know you have a question. So before we do anything, let's take the questions first. Who has a question or questions? Let's deal with that first. Do you have question, Mr. Sheyi? Do you have a question? Okay. Madam Abigail, do you have a question? How far have you gone with your
Yes.
transcripts? You have a question. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, it's still concerning the transcripts.
So
Is there
what
a way
have
I
you
can
done?
is there a way I can do this without the transcripts?
No, no. I did a video on that and I shared a video on our Facebook group. And in that video, I said,
I saw the notification, but my battery was low. That was why I didn't go through it.
okay, you cannot apply to schools without a transcript. What is the problem really? What are you facing?
The result is not yet out.
I don't understand. When did you finish the program?
This year,
When exactly this year? Was it January?
like last month, February.
That's too early. I'm not sure they will release transcripts that early. So let's take it from here. What you want to apply for is a first degree, right?
Yes.
Good. So you went to a secondary school. Your secondary school result, you have that.
Yes, I do.
You might have to make use of your secondary school transcripts, more like the WAEC result or the WAEC or NECO results. I'm sure you understand what I
There's
mean
a
by
WAEC
your.
result. Yes.
What did you say?
It's the WAEC result I have.
So you can make use of that. You can make use of that actually, because what you're looking at applying for is an undergraduate program. So if you have your WAEC
Yes.
results, you can use your WAEC results. But in addition to your WAEC result, you will need your, I'm thinking, you will need your ACT or SAT score, because if it is an undergraduate program like medicine, you would. So let's start from here. There was a book that I made available. Okay, I'm not sure it was for this group. It wasn't for your group. So this is what I want you to bear in mind. By the time the book is released to you from the end of this month, one of the things you want to start to do is to narrow down by, like, there was an assignment everybody had to do, and I'm not sure if you've done that assignment. So in that assignment, remember that we talked about the need to think of an academic interest. And if you have come up with your interest, by now you know the course or the likely courses you want to apply for.
Yeah.
Likely courses or course, I'm saying, even though medicine is like the primary or your number one interest, you should have some other courses that that you are interested
Yeah.
in.
The
Even though,
truth is,
what did you say?
yeah, I said the thing is, if there is any related courses, even if it's public health, it's still fine.
Of course, public health is a very good option, just like medicine is also a very good option. And I'm not going to say you should throw the medicine option away. I'm just
I'm
making
not
you aware of the
should
fact that
say again.
since you don't have a graduate level degree, you will need to present either a SAT or an ACT score. And SAT, I think, is the most, that's like the one that a lot of schools usually always ask for. So to get started, make a list of the likely courses you want to apply to. You don't have to say them to me. You need to know them by heart. And after making a list of the likely courses, you need to start making inquiries or doing your findings about ACT. ACT is an exam you have to write because there's no two way about it, especially if you're aiming for a degree like nursing or medicine or public health. The truth is, these three course options that you have chosen are very good options and the opportunities are there. But what then helps you to get these opportunities? First, have you written your letter of introduction? Because by the time we're done with this first month's session, you should actually have your letters of introduction ready, whether for the public health option or for the medicine option or for the nursing option. You must have a standard letter of introduction that you want to start sending to schools. So by the time you receive your book now and then you're looking at the schools that you should write to, if you do not have a letter of introduction, I'm sure you need to start asking questions again, and we won't be able to go back to some of the things that we already covered. So very important, very important. What you need to work on is to write your letter of introduction. And if you followed most of the things we shared already, I don't think that should be a problem for you. But if that is
Yeah,
still a problem,
we have them all on Facebook.
what did you say?
We have all the Zoom meetings recorded on Facebook. So I can always get it there, right?
So the Zoom meeting is not recorded on the Facebook group, okay? Even though we're streaming, we don't keep it on the Facebook group. You can find, you can do it on the YouTube channel. That's a good option, but it's not, we're not keeping that Facebook group anymore. Meanwhile, all the content in the Facebook group is going to be useful for whatever it is, for what you're working on right now, actually. So if you are referring to that Study Abroad and Impact Africa Facebook group, yes, you can use the old content there to revisit what I have talked about as far as working on your letter of introduction is concerned. I would very much like that these samples are ready so that if we are meeting next week, we can look through everybody's essay very quickly. Because if we don't have that, I
As the
cannot,
letter of introduction.
yes, I will not be able to review the essays privately. So if you make it available during next week's meeting, you make it easier for us to, to look through the essay as a group and offer some insights. Remember that the opportunities are there, but first you need to come up with a letter of introduction that suits all the likely courses you want to apply for. That's step one. Step two would be to now begin to reach out to departments in the book by the time you get your book on the 31st. And with that book, with the list of schools with the different courses that you are interested in, there will be no problem if, of course, you already have a letter drafted. So let's not overflog that because we're running out of time. Mr. Sheyi has another question. If you can respond now, let me take your question quickly before we go into the business of today, because myself and Mrs. Obisheson were talking about our application before today, and I know she has some other questions that she also wants to ask. So I'd like us to take her questions too very quickly. Mr. Sheyi, are you set? Okay, okay.
I can't see you, and
You
I
don't
can't see
worry about
anybody.
seeing me, just keep vibrating. If you cannot see me, just keep talking.
Uh, Not too good anyway, but it's about my transcript. I sent
Okay.
you email yesterday. That's
Yes, so
the
what is the question? I want you to repeat your question here for me. I can't hear you. Or do you want to type?
by the time I finish entering it is timeout. It should not calculate. So I'm thinking, is it because of the sections that is too long, or I'm just supposed to enter which section will I omit from what I sent to you?
So
That's
if
from
I'm
my
to, okay. Now to answer that question, number one, let me clarify that the free West evaluation is the evaluation that we're talking about here is not paid for, because someone was asking me, sorry, I forgot to add that to the group. Please give me a second. There's a lady who should be Her name is, she reached out to me and then she asked a question about her transcript. And then she was saying something like, her transcript is, no, that she thought that she was expected to pay. The first thing is you're not paying any money for this kind of evaluation that we're referring to. And I think I clarified this. And so to answer your question, Mr. Elijah, you would need to work very fast when you're doing this evaluation on this. So instead of imputing all the details, maybe the course name, the course code, you don't need to impute the name of the course because that will take your time. Just impute the unit of the course and the grade you had in the course.
Okay.
Does that make sense? So instead of imputing COM
Oh,
101,
it's
GEO
still not
105,
working. Okay,
physics
see.
115, you don't need to impute all of that long detail. Just impute,
Okay.
hello, there's
Oh.
interruption. Who is making noise there? We should start, we should have a list for noisemakers. So my point is, please, what was I saying? You need
Yes,
to
she
be
said there's
very
no need.
fast. You need to be very fast when you are imputing those details. If you impute those details very fast, there will be no problem at all. And this should not take time. This is something that you should do in the space of an hour or less. I tell you, we don't need to waste time on this. By now, you
Yes, I
all
have.
should have your letter of introduction written. I am not going to write a letter of introduction for anyone. So I don't expect us to be wasting time on this. So, like I said, people are getting admitted every day. And some of these people, they don't even have any coach. They are working, they just bought book and they are gone. So that we are getting this extra support, I think should motivate us to be very swift. Yes, I know that we are going through so much. Everybody has one struggle or the other. Me, myself, that I'm here, I'm going through stuff, but the last 1 week has been very stressful. I've not been feeling too well, but we have to just keep going because if you think about the consequences of not acting or of not working on this dream, you personally know that there are some things that will cry or that will suffer when we don't, do this. Okay. So there's a question from Mrs. Obisheson. Everything. I think everything. We should impute all the 4 years. All the 4 years.
But
If
for
it
me,
is a 4-year course, all the four
also,
years will make sense. If it is a 3-year program, 3 years. If it is a 5-year course, all the 5. So yes, if it is about imputing these details, don't try to impute everything. Let me show you something, for example. So let's say you are on the page right now and then you want to start imputing. You don't need to sign in. I think I mentioned that before. You don't need to sign in. So you see, you can choose whether it's US or whether it's Canada. Just fill in all these details. Okay. Which one is this? So this is something that shouldn't take more than 1 hour, just like I said. And you're supposed to impute, I don't think, I'm just going to put something here. Sorry. I made a mistake. I think I entered the wrong place. So, okay, let's hope this is correct.
Be calculated there.
I think I'm on the wrong page. But let me see where this is going to lead us. No, this is not what I want. Let me open another one. No, 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 no. I'm looking for that icon. Okay, okay. Oh boy. Where did I come to the last time?
Well, there's the two.
I can't find tools here. I'm wondering, maybe I landed on the wrong page. Let me go back to s.org. Ideally, we should have the tools icon, but okay, let me use another browser. Or maybe Maybe the system already realizes that, I don't know. The last time there wasn't so much confusion with getting to the free tool. If I'm not able to find the page, but I think we all know how to find it. So this shouldn't be a
Maybe you
difficult
should
thing for us to do.
maybe you should scroll maybe you should scroll down a little bit.
No. Okay, I guess okay, I think this is it. I don't want to impute all of these plenty details again. So your email, just probably put your email address. So please, you are imputing all the 4 years if it is a 4-year course, 5 years if it is a 5-year course, 7 years if it is a 7-year course, whatever the years, please just impute everything. The degree name, what is the name of degree? Classics. So my first degree and second degree was okay. So now this is one thing I want you to take note of. You need to check the appropriate grading scale, whether it is A to F or 0 to 100. So don't, I know that sometimes we end up picking the one that does not quite reflect the degree we have. So someone who finished with a medicine degree, for instance, I'm sure that in the medical field or in some particular field, they use alphabets like, oh, she made an A, distinction, or whatever it is. Just take note of the difference between the letter scale and the numerical scale. But the numerical scale is the most common one. So once you select that, I'm sure you followed how we came here. This is not a service you have to pay for. How many years was your study? Was it 5 years? Or was it 4 years? Was it 4.5? Or, you need to just impute that. Mine was a 4-year program. If it was a 1-year course, maybe it was a master's, you have to just enter or evaluate each of the transcript differently. Like you have to evaluate A differently, B differently, C differently. So you have to, now this is the page. You have to enter your course. So you see in this section, you don't need to enter title. You can just enter you can just enter the credits. How many credits? Was it a 3-credit course or a 4-unit course? Credit is units. Grade. Was it 75 or 55 you made? So you had another one. If it was a 2-credit course, simply add, maybe you made a 65. This has to be very fast. When I did mine, I used my phone. Sorry. And that's how to enter one after the other. If there was a 4-unit course and then you made a 60, that's how to enter. You have to keep doing it like that. And by the time you are done, you calculate your GPA. When you do this calculation, it sends the report to your email automatically. It sends the report to your email. So if you probably forgot how we got here, let us show you one more time, west.org. If you miss this session at any point or you miss this part, just go back to the YouTube channel. You'll find the video. So here, we came to West IGPA calculator. We started now and impute all the general details, you see, because I was already on this page before, and then I simply click on continue. Okay. Do I need to? So this is so straightforward. And once you're done, it takes you back to this page. It helps you, like it kind of brings you here to where you have to impute all the courses one by one. So this is not supposed to be a difficult thing to do. It's straightforward, actually. I see that there are new questions. So if you have a 7, but I have 7 session, leave the, you might pick the last option, which is the 6-year option, but that does not stop you from imputing all your details. What you are really looking forward to do is, this is like a 1-hour exercise. And this 1-hour exercise, you don't need all the different names that you, like you don't need to impute all the names of the courses and start imputing survey, maybe the description of the course is biology, human biology. You don't need to write all of that long name. Just write the units and the grade, the unit and the grade. If you impute everything from A to Z, you will be done in 1 hour. And I can tell you, because I mean, what are we writing? Is it not just to put 2 numbers there, put 3 numbers there? It might sound like I'm talking so fast, but that's how to just get it done. Because see, we can't keep sleeping on a bicycle. We can't keep sleeping on a bicycle, and there is no time. If you think about the fact that, like, I'm so under pressure to get that book out, because I don't want to be the reason why some people will say, they have not done anything this year, because we still have March, April, May, June. I met a few ladies. Okay, I met 2 ladies in my school. They did not wait for so long. They started their process, was it August of last year, and they came into the US in December. August, September, October, November. Like, I mean, it didn't take them so much time. Unlike people like us that spent an entire almost a decade looking for opportunity. They came in so fast. And I want our stories to be like their own, so that in no time, one, work on your transcripts. There is nothing serious here. Do that free evaluation so that you can have it. It times out before 1 hour. The last one I did was not up to 30 minutes. That is why I said, don't put all the information. If you put only this, you saw what I did. The last, I impute, I think I filled 4 columns, right? That didn't take me more than 2 seconds to fill those details. So I'm saying, if you have your transcript before you and you are filling the unit and the grade, it's not going to take forever. No, it won't take up to 1 hour. It won't even take up to 1 hour, yes. Because I'm sure you were imputing all the, maybe I'm the one assuming. Was that not the case?
Yes.
Huh?
I was putting all the courses, the
So
course
please don't
names.
do that. Just impute the unit of the course and the grade. Once, what you need is just that rough evaluation, so that when you are writing your first paragraph of your letter of introduction, you have something concrete to impute. And I know if you don't have your letter of introduction, you can bring it next week so that we can review and share feedback next week. After next week, you are so lucky. The following week, the book will be ready, and then you have access to start working at your own pace. If you then feel the need to continue with this Zoom call, then you can continue with the subscription. If not, you can still remain on the group as a member with a monthly membership fee. But another thing that I want to take note now is Mrs. Obisheson's set of questions, because we had a chat earlier today. So I want her to ask some very specific question with regard to our own application, and then I feel that you all can be a part of it, so that at least you can learn one thing or the other in this meeting. So I would give her the floor. She's been on our work for a while now, and then I just want her to share what our major concerns are, and then we share a few insights. Then if there's any other thing to take note of today, we'll do that quickly. So I am imputing my details. Yes, it will. I don't think you would even need to impute your details if it is a WAEC results. I don't think that would be necessary. I'm just thinking, I'm just thinking, okay, yes, it's possible you can try it, but I don't know what that would, because I know that in the WAEC results, you don't have course units. So there will be no need to actually do that for the WAEC results. You know, you don't have course unit in your WAEC results, you only have your grade. So you don't have
Yeah.
like 3 units, then, you know, so there will be no point, there will be no need to do that. The result, the WAEC result is straightforward. And I think that the WAEC result has, um, is written, is documented in a way that anybody who is reading it can interpret it. As far as I
Yeah.
know, anybody who is reading it can interpret it. So there will be no point, there will be no need to do that. But right now, there's nothing stopping you from still drafting your letter of introduction. I don't think that should, you should, that anything should hold you back, please. We need to work on that. There's no time. Okay, Mrs. Obisha, so I remember that, you know, there were some things that we were talking about earlier. Now, I'd just like you to raise some of those questions here again before we check out. You said something about losing motivation, if you remember. I can't hear you. Is there anyone who can hear her? Can we hear her?
No, no.
No, we can't. We can't hear you.
Yeah, she needs to press the start video. She needs to press the start video, I think,
Oh,
or is it the mute?
no,
She should
I don't think.
unmute her mic.
I have.
Have you?
All
Okay,
right.
yeah, we can hear you now. We can hear you now.
Good evening, everyone. Can you
Welcome.
all hear me?
We can hear you now.
Okay.
Welcome.
Like we were discussing earlier, I have a couple of schools already that most that would start in September.
Okay.
So I am trying to see if I can get the English test waiver, considering I have had all my degrees in English. I currently work and do everything. I currently work with English language. So that's one. Then two, one of the schools I got in northern UK has a 2,500 waiver of the fees. The fee is actually £15,000 and it's a 2-year course. Someone did mention that school to me in another post and said I could split my fee and pay as much as 7 times before the end of my program. So I quickly went to check that up, and there's work placement. Work placement is more or less like an internship. And then there's another one. It's something else that I don't have to pay for. So I think I'll be left with about maybe £11,000 or thereabouts. So that was what I was discussing with Solar. If I should pick that up, since I have basically everything. I have my transcripts, I have my CV, I have everything ready.
So
Maybe
can I ask a question? How many I see there's another question in the chats. We'll get to that soon. But let me ask you, how many potential advisors have you engaged via email?
okay, for the schools, I have been able to narrow down. I'm able to narrow down the University of Vienna in Austria.
How
I
many?
don't
Can
need to
you
talk to.
count?
I don't need to talk to any advisor, any potential advisor. It it's not the same way as it works in the US and in Canada. That's not how it works in
Oh,
most
okay.
European countries. Once you meet the basic requirements, it's only when you need maybe you're seeking further clarifications that you could talk to a departmental head or a course coordinator. But having to look for a potential supervisor
Now,
or
maybe you're
something.
getting me wrong. Let me clarify what I mean by potential advisor. What I mean by potential advisor here is not that you have to start looking for somebody whose research interest matches your own. Well, technically, that is it. Okay. But again, you don't have to find somebody who will say, okay, yes, I want to work with you. So let me use this as an example. Well, I did apply to some schools in the Europe, and that's why I'm saying that the advisor thing still works, but it might work differently. Advisor here is just you reaching out for advice, reaching out to get information, not necessarily because you want the person to take you under his or her tutelage. I remember when I was writing to somebody at the University of Otago, that is in Europe, it is not in America or Canada. I still had to write like I was reaching out to a potential advisor. So the person read my letter, and then the feedback was that they were not taking an international student then. So what we are still saying is we are reaching out to just gather information to know whether they are willing to take you or they have a place for you as an international student or perhaps even funding. So maybe I'm the one confusing us by using the word potential advisor. Potential advisor does not necessarily have to be that the person is saying, okay, I want to work with you, because it will be, in fact, a lot of times in the humanities or in some areas, you don't necessarily find somebody who will say, okay, when you get here, I will supervise you. In fact, a lot of people end up changing who they would work with eventually. But you should at least have like a connection with somebody in the department. That connection is like the virtual advisor thing, because the person is going to be sharing insights with you. So, what am I saying here? You will need to reach out and find somebody that is reading your email. And I am saying that this might also be very much true as far as Europe is concerned, because I have at least applied to a few European schools. In any case where you are not doing this and then you're just writing or reaching out to admission units, this is what they always think most time. They kind of have this impression that you have all the money. Because as a matter of fact, even the schools that offer funding, they are also looking for people who have money to come and spend. So if we are changing the game or changing the the formats, it might sound to them that as it might sound or it might seem to some schools that it might appear to them that one is actually not interested in funding, but one actually has money to come and study. So I think we need to be very careful with the way we are approaching, the email thing. This is what I know, and this is what I know works. If we are not writing letters of introduction and we are not sending letters out, it is less likely that one will get good options of schools that are ready to admit one on a funded program. If we don't write letters of introduction, we don't draft them, we don't send them out, there is no way we can find schools reading from us and willing to, to give feedback, whether in the meantime or even in the future. And I know that another concern that some people usually have is that they're like, okay, I am interested. I have started reaching out to schools. I've reached out to one, two, three. And after reaching out to one, two, three, you're not getting feedback. You throw in the towel. The idea is to keep increasing the list. So there's a question here. I will say that, I cannot begin to recommend schools one by one since you're already waiting to get your book. There's no point repeating what you will find in the book. So you once you have the book, you can begin to use the list of schools there. Again, I don't as far as your interest is concerned, this would be a wrong question to ask me because when it comes to areas of interest, there are different schools because one, when you begin to check these schools, you realize that the area of interest you have might not be exactly what they have in their course or in their program. Okay, Mrs. Obisha's son here is interested in book publishing, right? Am I correct?
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, you are. Yeah.
Now, in the school that I am, it's not like they don't have a program within book publishing, but it belongs to another unit completely. And so there is communication, there is communication studies, there is
Yes, studies.
writing and publishing. There are different names for different areas, meaning that that same area that you have in mind might have a different name in another school. Okay, so this is what we're talking about. There are a list of schools with funding, and if it is about you getting started today, there is a hack book that some people already have access to, and I'm sure you already have access to that book. If you go to that Facebook group right now, it's everything is there. So I know the reason why I'm directing this comment to Mr. Shei is because you are not a new subscriber. You are not one of those who pre-ordered the book. Those who actually pre-ordered the book, they will find all of this information in the book. And the reason why I don't want to jump the gun and say, oh yeah, this is the book, is because there are some things that I needed to change and that have been, incorporated in the book for those who pre-ordered. And for those who pre-ordered, yes, they are getting the book in 2 weeks' time. But for you who have access to that Facebook group, everybody here seems to even have access to that Facebook group. A list of schools are in the hack book. But the question is, how much time have you spent on the website of these schools? If you find a program that relates to what you're interested in, and you do not see the name of the course the idea is, have you taken time to look through the profile of these courses to see whether this is similar to what you want? Remember that we also sounded this note of warning that you might have your first love, maybe book publishing, maybe landscape architecture. Be flexible in the sense that be open to other related courses. I don't know if that answers our question. Nursing might be your first choice. Open your minds to public health. Open your minds to medicine or any other thing that relates to that first love. So that at the end of the day, even if you're applying to 5 schools, okay, and let's assume that there is only 3 schools with application fee waiver, okay, and these 3 schools have, only one of them has your first love. If I were you, the smart thing I would do is to what? Include the other schools with waivers on my list and apply to second choice courses that are not among my first love, but have things that are related to what I want to study. So there are 3 schools offering application fee waiver. I don't understand what you mean by no advisors.
Yeah, there's no advisor attached to the courses. Like I've checked almost from the art book, I've checked, I think about 6 schools,
Okay.
Arizona State, Alabama too. I didn't see the advisor. The advisor for the Texas Tech, that one
What
I
do you
couldn't
mean
get.
by advisor? Let me get what you're trying to say.
Like Texas Tech now, for each courses, they attach advisor to the courses on their lists. The way you just explained that we need to, our introduction letter needs to be directed to the advisor so
Okay.
we can get uh, good feedback and good response direct from the faculty. So For the Texas Tech, the advisor is attached to the course, in which I've checked that, and the name, though I couldn't see any paper she has published or any other thing, but at least it has an advisor. But it's just for the other schools, there's no advisor attached to them, to the courses. It's just you apply, send your maybe
Give me the name
all the
of the
requirements.
school. Let's check that right now. Give us the name of the other schools. Let's check.
I think Arizona State University. Yes, Arizona State.
So what program were you checking?
That's architecture. Though I saw interior design, landscape architecture, all our graduates, it's undergraduate program.
Okay. I'm listening.
Yes, their undergraduate program, that's architecture, MIA, or that's the abbreviation, Masters in Architecture. Masters in Architecture. Though I had other options like whether in interior design or landscape architecture. So, but the issue is that they did not attach any advisor to it. So when I,
They did not
from
attach, come again. Repeat that.
there was no advisor attached to it. They just gave a contact phone number, and I think the contact phone number leads to the
I'm
main
sure this is
contact
where
of
you came to, right?
major and degree.
Is this
No,
where you came to?
no, I went to under admissions.
Okay.
I went to
You went to
graduates
where?
under admissions.
This is admissions.
Yes, I went to graduates. That's graduates. That's graduates. The last one.
Yeah?
Yes.
Wow. I don't think this is the place, so.
Though I didn't open it from the top like this.
So how did you do it?
I browsed through the page. You scroll down. I browsed through the page and I went to where I can
Here?
see
Yeah?
graduate degrees. Yes, graduate degrees.
Okay. So what next?
It will show the courses for the graduate and degrees. And
So where did you go to
there
after now?
I went direct to the course I wanted, the course of my interest.
Did you type in your course or you clicked on any of these icons?
No, I didn't type it in. I clicked on, I think the one that's architecture. Yes, this architecture and construction.
Okay.
It took me direct to where I'm supposed to go, actually. It took me direct to where the main graduate courses are.
Are we on the wrong page?
No, you're on the right page.
Eh?
On the right page. You're on the right page.
So what next? Where did you go to afterwards?
The second course, architecture and arc. When I clicked on that, I couldn't find, where I could get to, to refine
This is like a general page, okay? Usually when you find a page like this is not the departmental page. I think what you should do, see, this is the college.
Yes, that's the college. It's different. The way you just said it, it may not be within the courses they do.
Did you get here?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So these are the degrees and programs. Whoa. And that degree, that master's in architecture, is under, I think is under this particular school.
Yes, it's under it.
Graduates. You said?
Yes. Yes, it's under it. Graduate degree.
This is faculty and research. Did you get here?
No, I didn't enter faculty and research.
I didn't hear you.
I didn't enter faculty and research. I didn't go to faculty and research. I just
That
wanted
is
to
where
do-
you should go to, sir.
Oh, okay.
That is where you should go to. There is no school in anywhere in the world where you will not find the contact information of. Don't be looking now. Usually, I know that the first thing that we faculty directory. This is where you need to go to.
Yep.
And there are templates on how to get this done on the YouTube channel. You know, we cannot possibly touch on everything in our meeting. I hope we agree.
Yeah.
So we need to take time to do something on the YouTube channel, okay? Please give me a second. Someone is at my door.
Room service. How are you?
Oh my
How are
God.
you?
I'm
Did I
good.
wake you up?
No, I was in the meeting.
All right. So this is Fortune and Sunday, and they're from Nigeria.
Oh my
This is
God. Yes, I am. 1 minute, please. Let me wrap up this meeting. Okay, guys. Did we clarify that? Did we?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll go
Any
for
other
that.
question?
No, that's all.
Question? Are we done? Okay. I think we can end the meeting now. Mr. Choice, you came in rather late. Okay.
Sorry to ask. In case I didn't find any paper that the advisor wrote. That means
Remember I
my
said
documentation-
that to find paper, did you get to this point the last time? You did not. So with what we have found, you need to now spend time on their profiles, okay? Do we agree? So spending time on their profile is the different thing now. And if you spend time on their profile, you'll be able to find information on what they have written or what they have published. Now, if you don't then find anything useful, the last time we met, what did I do? Remember that I picked somebody's name and took the name to Google Scholar. Can you remember? That was what I did. Even if you are looking for an undergraduate option, Madam Abigail, do you know one strategy you need to employ? Because your area as an undergraduate person is keenly contested. And the fact that there aren't many options for undergraduate international students. So it will make sense for you to connect with as many potential advisors as possible, okay? If you have any quick question, just drop a message on the group so that I need to go now. Thank you, everyone. See you next week. Mrs. Obishason, was it really worthwhile? Was it worth your time?
Yes.
Are you
Of course.
sure? Because I
Yeah.
kind of coerced you to join.
No, like what was discussed,
Okay, that's fine.
it will also
All right,
help
everyone.
keep me on track.
And for the late comers, make sure you pay your fine on the group. Okay, please make sure you watch the replay on the YouTube channel. I'm going to upload the video on the channel now. All right, bye.
Okay.
Thank you so